welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. Continuing our holiday dish series, and this one is acorn squash. If you've ever seen one of these in the store, this is an acorn squash. This guy's a butternut squash. This guy's an acorn squash. Similar, very similar in flavor profile. I would say the acorn squash is a little bit nuttier. I think it's called acorn squash because of its shape, but it also is a little bit nuttier. Obviously easier to cut if you go this way, but we don't want that. I want this long way because I'm trying to go between the ridges because of the way we're going to cook them. Oh, this one I really didn't get in half. Not even close. Not even close, but it's okay. Oh, there we go. This one has a much bigger side and a much smaller side, and I'm a little lopsided, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, it smells so much like a pumpkin. It kind of looks like a pumpkin on the inside too. We're gonna clean out the inside, and there's a couple of options. If you don't have a grapefruit spoon, I love a grapefruit spoon. It has little teeth along the edge. I don't know if you can see, there's like little teeth along the edge. A grapefruit spoon does a great job because it cuts through all these connection points to scoop out. But a fork also does a good job because in the same way, a fork is going to kind of pull through those strings. So if you don't have a grapefruit spoon, you could use a fork. Of course, you can use a spoon. It's just hard. A spoon kind of like just slides over these fibrous bits to take the seeds out. And you want to take a little bit too of this like fibrous inside out when you're taking the seeds out. And a grapefruit spoon just like does a beautiful job because it cuts through those little fibers. So if you have them, I love them. Do I think you need to buy them just to make this recipe? Definitely not. But there are things in the kitchen I use them for. Once everyone's cleaned out and happy and de-seeded and beautiful, I took a baking dish and I put just a smidge of water in the bottom, just like a tiny bit of water, a 1/4 inch of water in the bottom. And I'm going to put them face down to start with. And this is just so that they get really beautiful and tender. And then we're going to flip them over and flavor them. So I know you're thinking there's no flavor on them. We're just going to cook them like this for like half of the time in the oven. We're going to put this in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to flip them over and we're going to season them up and make them all deliciousness. Okay, be back. No room on the counter because one of my plugs is broken, and so the toaster is next to me and it is so in my way. It's been 30 minutes. They are beautifully cooked and tender and magical. Most of the water has evaporated. Be so careful because they're very hot. We're going to flip them over onto their backs so that we can fill their cavities with yummy goodness. Okay, we're going to do a sweet preparation, but you could very easily do a savory preparation. You could put some cooked up Italian sausage, like crumbled sausage or breakfast sausage. You could put nuts, you could put honey, you could put cheese, you can put whatever your heart desires. If you're going to do a savory preparation, I would encourage you to give these a little salt and pepper action, a little seasoning, because as you know, all we've done so far is steam them basically in the oven. And I'm going to do a sweet preparation. And so my salt is going to come from my salted butter. So I'm not going to need to add any salt, and then I'm going to add sugar. So basically I'm just going to whack in to each cavity like a half a tablespoon, get as crazy as you want to get. It's butter. Who doesn't like butter? I'm going to put some butter in the cavity of each one of these. Okay, it's a holiday food. It's not a health food. So don't get in my comments like, oh my God, you put butter and sugar. I did, and it's delicious. Okay, you can do whatever you want at your house, I promise. But this is how we do it, and it's so freaking good. Okay, but we don't have it every night. We have, it's a treat. Whacked our butter in. Now, if you're a cinnamon person, sprinkle some cinnamon on the good boy. Cinnamon is delicious in this. You want it to have sort of a pie vibe, right? You could do some cinnamon, some nutmeg, whatever. I'm just going to do the butter and some brown sugar. That's it. This is going to get all caramely and delicious and like unreal incredible. It's like, is it dessert or is it a side dish? I don't know. You decide. It might be both, to be honest. Cavity is full of brown sugar and butter. Some of them a lot, okay? Okay, now it's going back in the oven, staying at that 400 degrees for another 20-ish minutes, just till everything gets all melty and glorious and falls in love with each other. This flesh is already pretty soft, so we're basically cooked. So you don't have to worry about that too much. Can you hear the molten hot sugar lava talking to us? The smell in my kitchen is so divine, like I can't even tell you, but literally the molten lava is talking. Okay, we're gonna have this cool down before we taste it. I don't want to die today. Let's dig into our molten lava. Let's do the one that was like singing to us, talking to us. Let's do that one. So people say you can eat the skin. I have personally have never eaten the skin. My family never did that. And I find the closer you get to the skin, the more bitter it gets. So I would imagine that the skin is quite bitter. So that's probably not for me. Oh, it's still so hot. It is still molten hot. So I just eat them right out of these, right out of their shell, like little boats of deliciousness. You could also stuff them with rice and meat. Sweet, salty, savory, buttery deliciousness. It's just like the most fall thing ever. 10 out of 10 recommend. And I'm probably gonna eat a whole one to myself. It's still really hot. So delicious.